significant developments this morning in the war in Afghanistan. The president has now ordered the Pentagon to, for now, stand down on a planned troop surge. That coming after presidential envoy Richard Holbrooke said winning in Afghanistan will be, quote, much tougher than in Iraq. Republican Congressman Eric Cantor and Pete Hoekstra traveled to Kabul this week, where we talked to both of them about what's going on there on the ground. Congressman Hoekstra and Cantor, welcome. Thank you for joining us from Kabul. Congressman Hoekstra, let me start with you. You were the chairman of the Intelligence Committee. You're the ranking Republican. How do we turn this thing around? I mean, the Taliban have been gaining. Even the chief of Joint Chiefs of Staff believes that we may not be winning.
Well, I think actually when you're on the ground here talking to the folks here, they're identifying that it's a difficult situation, but they've laid out a strategy that I think can move us forward. I'm hopeful that the Obama administration is going to commit to bringing some more troops here, hopefully by the summer. But they've got a broad-based strategy that I think can turn this situation around and put Afghanistan into a situation where they will not again be a safe haven for al-Qaeda or the Taliban to plan attacks against the West or the United States.
Well, the administration is talking about maybe 30,000 more troops, but how do we get our NATO allies involved? I mean, France says they may pull out. Germany says no more troops. Italy may send 300. We're 30,000. They're 300. How do we get them involved so it's not just on us?
Well, actually, that's one of the things that we did talk about as we met with the commanders here in Afghanistan. You know, there's a lot of different ways that these countries can help us. They've been a tremendous assistance in the past. But I think that as the Obama administration reaches out, lays out a concrete strategy, and engages our allies, our NATO allies, I am hopeful and expectant that they will either continue assisting us in the way that they have in the past, or that they will find other ways to make sure that this mission in Afghanistan will be successful.
And Congressman Cantor, talk about allies. What do we do about Pakistan? I mean, it seems that they're sheltering the al-Qaeda leaders who are launching attacks, including Osama bin Laden. And look, they just released A.Q. Khan, the godfather of the nuclear bomb and that underground network. That's a slap in our face.
Well, yeah, look, there's no question we're in a very challenging region of the world right here in Kabul and the rest of the countries around in Central Asia. But our troops on the ground under the command of some excellent generals are doing what needs to be done, frankly, to forge these alliances across the border with Pakistan, with their military and their government. We were informed today at length of the progress that's being made here in Kabul and throughout Afghanistan. So there's no question that we're in for a very challenging year here in Afghanistan. Our troops' morale is good, and I know I share with Pete the notion that I would hope the White House would be forthcoming with the delivery on the commitment to send more troops here to Afghanistan. As Pete said, #1 mission is to ensure that Afghanistan does not fall into the hands of the terrorists again, because they'll use this place just as they did before to launch attacks against us in the United States.
Well, the car bombs are up. The violence has been up. But the Taliban have control of some of the main roads and a huge swath of that country. Congressman Hoekstra, if I can ask you, it needs more than just the military. They're talking about an awakening similar to what succeeded in Iraq.
Well, they're talking about the same kinds of, we need the same kind of progress on the ground that we've had in Iraq. But Afghanistan is a very, very different situation. It doesn't have the established middle class that Iraq has had. It doesn't have the oil revenues. It doesn't have a history of having a central, stable government. So the strategies that we put in place here in Afghanistan are going to be different. It is going to be a very challenging environment. I don't think anybody's shying away from that fact. But the bottom line is that we do need to be successful in Afghanistan to ensure our security here and in the United States. I mean, Afghanistan is in a critical part of the world, sitting between Pakistan, sitting between Iran, and then also there are Chinese and Russian interests here. This is very important for our long-term security.
Another issue for Eric Cantor, talk about a challenging issue, the economy. The Senate has an agreement on the stimulus. What will happen when it gets to the House?
Well, first of all, we've got to get back to Washington and actually read the bill. I don't think anyone has seen the particulars of the agreement yet in the Senate. From news reports, I can tell you I'm very worried, though, at the amount of $800 billion plus. I'm also concerned and remain concerned about the nature of this bill. As the bill left the House, it was nothing but a gargantuan spending bill with many pet projects that have been inserted in the bill that have nothing to do with what a stimulus bill should be. A stimulus bill should be very focused on preserving, protecting, and creating jobs. Our economy is suffering right now. The middle class in America continues to see job layoffs and are very worried about their future. We cannot afford to continue to borrow trillions of dollars a year and lay that debt on our children and our grandchildren, which is why we've got to have a smart, simple stimulus plan. Leader John Boehner, the Republican leader in the House, has appointed a working group that has come up with a Republican plan. It creates twice as many jobs at half the cost. We've been talking with the Obama White House. We want to hopefully continue to see that some of our ideas make it into this agreement. Otherwise, I would think that the American people couldn't bear to see the kind of waste and pork barrel spending that's in this bill actually pass.
Well, not one Republican in the House supported the original bill, so obviously there's a way to go. But for now, we'll say safe travels to both of you, Representative Eric Cantor and Pete Hoekstra, joining us from Kabul, Afghanistan. Gentlemen, thank you. Have a safe trip.